Happy Monday, everybody. It's the start of a new week, a new month. Let's go. I'm here. Let's talk. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon. Thanks for tuning in to the Monday episode of the Detroit Lions Lone Wolves podcast, made possible thanks to On Sports Illustrated. Hope everybody had a decent weekend. Lots going on still with the Detroit Lions. Really, every single day, something new happens, and today, got to talk about it. I was getting excited for free agency. You know, it's that time of year now where it's Super Bowl week. You get opportunities to hear stories. Maybe some Detroit Lions are talking. You're seeing the photos from the Pro Bowl games. It's interesting. And then you're kind of recapping last year. You're looking ahead to the future on SI, on the Detroit Lions on SI website. We have the 5 keys that the Lions need to get back to the Super Bowl. So you're starting to turn the page. And I'm excited. I'm like, all right, the future, free agents. Who are people starting to project to the Lions? There's one we'll share later on. I think it's interesting. A former draft pick in 2022 got traded to the Rams. I think it's intriguing to potentially add a cornerback in free agency. So it's all about newness. And people are refreshingly looking at the offensive line, defensive line. And then a reporter, Detroit Football Network, found out. And look, I wasn't deeply looking at the roster. I'm just looking at the future. And it's right there, right on over the cap, spot track. I was looking at the numbers, not the players. But you could go back and see that Levi Onwuzurike is still on the roster. And you're like, oh, what does that mean? Well, Detroit Football Network found out. Guess what? 2 players that I think a lot of fans were hoping would not be part of the 2026 Detroit Lions, 2 names that are going to be back. Levi Onwuzurike, Josh Paschal are actually still under contract. They will not be free agents. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily they're going to be on the roster. They got to earn a spot. But a provision in the collective bargaining agreement makes it so that players in their last year of a contract, if they're on the physically unable to perform list, or the NFI list, but they don't see the field in the last year of their contract, the word that's going to haunt Lions fans is the word toll. Not the toll that you got to pay to go to Ohio or in Florida when you're driving around on vacation if you're lucky enough to leave this frigid state that we're all in. No, contract toll. I feel like it haunted me. I'm not going to lie. I read the news. And I looked at it and go, I'm not a rules guy. I don't dig into the rules. I don't care. But this rule, I hate. I hate this rule. I was bummed out. I was like, I don't like this rule. I don't like contract tolls. I don't like this provision. The Lions still have Levi Onwuzurike and Josh Paschal on the roster. And look, I just think it's not fair to them because the fan base is only thinking about the fact that Levi Onwuzurike has not been on the field for darn near 5 years. And Josh Paschal coming off of a back injury, Levi Onwuzurike ACL. There was an opportunity for newness, freshness. What was your reaction? They are both under contract. They both will probably participate in organized team activities. We'll get our first look. I'm sure those things might be asked about. I'm hopefully heading out to the combine at the end of the month. Let's give an early shout out to the 150 people in here. Shout out to Mike 6461, Kevin Jeffrey, Anakin, you know who 313. Vincent, always good checking in with you. Always good to check in with Riley. What are your thoughts? The Lions, most people felt like, okay, Al-Quadin Muhammad would be a priority. You have Ahmed Hassani still on the roster going to develop. Levi and Josh, all you can do is hope that they can get on the field. There's no trust. And I think both of them probably would want a fresh start in a place where they have an opportunity where the fans are not going to be so like, oh, really? A lot of the fans that reacted online were just like, nah. Well, what's your reaction? The darn provision. Shout out to Hassanin Mahdi. Good evening, my dear friend Macaroon, the Doc. Hopefully it's a great start to your week. Hopefully your back's well, feeling well. Hopefully the weather's better than here. Here it's frigid cold. bone chilling cold. Got to keep the mustache and the goatee because it's so cold. Shout out to Hassanin. Hopefully it's a blessed start to the week to our friend overseas. Mike K6461, the regression towards the norm. It's Jay Stees. I change my mind every stream, but Doc, I want Caleb Banks in the first. What do you like about Caleb Banks? It's okay. Change your mind every day. That's the best part about the draft. It's great. Yeah, there's mock drafts every day. We did one on Sunday. Post. We'll probably go over that one tomorrow. Post Senior Bowl mock draft from Christian. Courtney Nicholson, 122. Every day, right? Time for Lions fans to pray. What are we praying about this week? That's funny. Pray for health. Pray that the free agency dollars open up. Pray that things work out. Absolutely. It's time to pray. That's very funny. Yes, it's time to pray. Pray for the Detroit Lions to have an opportunity to get back to health. I mean, how is it possible that the Seahawks and the Patriots, with their great defenses, are in the top 10 least injured teams? How is that possible? That's just wild to think about, that they're so healthy and we're not. It's wild to think about. What's your reaction? Do you think that Brad Holmes will change his free agency strategy because of Levi and Josh? I don't think it will, but we'll see. It's interesting because you like the idea of Levi and Josh Paschal, maybe some help along the interior, can play on the edge, can stop the run, but you need more pass rush, you need more consistency, you need more health. And I just don't know if those guys are going to be able to provide that. And you just hope that, health for all of the Detroit Lions, it's just bad luck to see that rash of injuries again. It's just those players remind you of injuries. Roll call. How's everyone doing? Joey, Detroit Lions, 1450. Where's everybody listening in from on this Monday? Mike K6461. Same old Lions. Too much Little Caesars on the brain. Are you guys watching the Pro Bowl games? I have less than no interest in the Pro Bowl. I don't care. I see some of the photos. Great. Jared Goff's catching passes. It was cute to see Penei Sewell try to, play offensive lineman while Jahmyr Gibbs is a defender. I'm just not into it. I just hope, like everybody else, I hope it just dies a slow death and just no more Pro Bowl games. Give us a list. You're a Pro Bowler. Have them come out in a ceremony in the Super Bowl, and that's it. I don't care. It's flag football. Last year it went down 1 million viewers from the year before. I don't care. Courtney's praying that somebody in the medical team has Lions on low fat. They need FATS 1. We need the medical team to figure out how to prevent these injuries. But it's bad. I mean, a lot of it's bad luck. I mean, Achilles for Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph degenerative knee situation, supposedly. Hopefully that he's able to rehab it and get well. They need more fats in their diet so they can be less brittle. Courtney's coming in with the jokes on a Monday. I like it. As always, got to get the likes up. The numbers are good, holding steady. It's the off season. I get it. Want to be up there in likes. If you're listening in, like on X or the YouTube stream, it's the free way just to help. Nothing needed. If you want to get your comment guaranteed to be read, jump to the front of the line. Super chats are always welcome. It helps keep the lights on. Bills paid. Heat, keeping it at 73 so I can stay warm because, man, it's bone chilling cold, but I like it. I like the cold. I like going for walks, but I also missing the sun just a little bit, especially when you see, I don't know if you guys watch PGA golf, but the tournament at the Farmers Insurance was awesome to see. Justin Rose won the tournament. It was awesome seeing all the sunny shots. I was like, man, a nice round of golf does sound good. Beats working, right? But I'm waking up every day fired up to write. Thank you for the continued support in February and January for the Detroit Lions on SI website. Everything you want's there. Videos, news analysis, highlights, quick information. AG's burner. I haven't watched a Pro Bowl since Sean Taylor was murdering punters. If you don't know the story, a Pro Bowl punter got destroyed by Sean Taylor, one of the rare OGs who took that game seriously, and it was still tackle. Eventually, it got to the point where it was basically a free-for-all, and there was not that many tackling, but Sean Taylor took it seriously. Right? AG's burner. How many injuries did Chad Johnson have? And he's eating McDonald's every day. The McDonald's diet is wild. It's not a fluke that they're banged up. It's par for the course at this point. It always feels like bad luck. And that's why I understand your guys' concern. Like I said in the previous stream, I'm getting a lot of responses on direct messages and on X that you guys are concerned about Amon-Ra St. Brown this Friday, next Friday, the 13th. Listen, I'm not knock on wood. Everyone knock on wood. Amon-Ra St. Brown. If today's the 1st, let's see here. If I'm accurate. Today's the 2nd of February. By the time Friday hits, it will be the 6th. So next Friday, the 13th, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to participate in the Celebrity All-Star Game. And listen, I'm not going to begrudge anybody or judge anybody, but I'm going to watch that game start to finish, make sure his ankles are okay, make sure that he comes out of that game healthy. Because we're all thinking it. Please don't let Amon-Ra get hurt. This is the most unlucky, the most distressed team in the league. We need every body part, everybody healthy. So I'm concerned. So I'll be watching. Just jump. Don't get yourself in a position to hurt yourself in a celebrity NBA All-Star game. But now, realistically, do you guys have faith that Levi Onwuzurike and Josh Paschal, along with Ahmed Hassanin and Aiden Hutchinson, does that sound like a formidable defensive end unit? I like Ahmed Hassanin coming off the edge clearly as a bull rusher in certain situations in his second year. Let him develop. But you need to have a plethora of defensive ends. Twitchy, fast, reliable. Anakin's all for it. Doc, let St. Brown have a little fun. He's going to have a lot of fun, hopefully, as long as it's safe fun. Basketball is always one of those sports. My goodness. Steve Wild says, I want the tackle from Arizona State. What do you like about him? What do you like about the Arizona State tackle? Is it, I think we might have put him on the list, I believe, if I'm mistaken, if you're talking about Max Ihinature. We put him on a list. So let me know if that's the player you're looking for. Yep. Max is the tackle I want from Arizona State. Yeah, we had him on the list. Yeah, listen, tackle's fine. I'm more in line with defensive end tackle. Defensive end in the first round, tackle in the second. But nothing wrong with that. As long as you hit the trenches early, it's not a bad thing. Steve gets in with his scouting report. Elite movement skills, best tackle at the Senior Bowl. A name to watch. Somebody maybe then I'll have Emmett do a deep dive scouting report on to confirm your thoughts. But here's the thing, looking at it, if Levi and Josh are able to, listen, if they're able to stay healthy, and it's a big IF, a huge IF, if they're able to stay healthy, they are affordable. But here's the problem, and it's I'm telling you guys up front, I am biased because I'm also looking at the freaking Detroit Tigers who can't pay 1 year $15 million for a guy that hit a home run against them in the playoffs. 1 year, $15 million. You can't get Eugenio Suarez on this roster. That is the definition of cheap. And the Lions are not being cheap. They're being economical because of the cap. But Jahmyr Gibbs is going to need money. Sam Laporta is going to need money. Brian Branch is going to need money. And so it feels like they're settling. Like there's no way if me and Brad and Dan were having a bourbon for real, and I'd say, Brad, okay, you're getting the tab, right? I'm just a youngin', and I'm only 8 years into my media career here. They were like, Doc, quiet. We see your 3 studios. Pick up the tab. I'd be like, okay, fine. For this interview, I'll pick up the tab. He'd be like, listen, no, we're not going to. We're looking as much as possible for value contracts for guys that we can get a lot out of. But I'm like, man, Seattle and the Patriots spent in free agency because they had a reasonable quarterback, middle-class quarterback in Sam Darnold and a cheap quarterback in Drake May. They were able to spend in free agency. So the Lions are like, well, if we, they want to get lucky. They got lucky on Al-Quadin Muhammad. His contract was super reasonable. But you can't count on that. That's luck. If you want to pray that those guys' contracts are affordable. Right now, the contract terms are, for those who don't know, the term is 1 year, $4 million for Levi. He has bonuses that could kick it up to $5.5 million if he hits them all. And he has a guaranteed money of $1.5 million, fully guaranteed because of the toll. He was unable to perform all year. He hits the provision. Now, Josh Paschal is a little different. He's on the NFI provision, which lets his contract toll, but his $1 million base salary is not guaranteed. So Josh has to earn it. Levi's getting the $1.5 million. AVS. Doc, the man, what's going on? Joining a few minutes late. What did I miss? The banner. Levi Onwuzurike, Avston Taylor. Levi Onwuzurike and Josh Paschal are back. What do you think our reaction is? I'm curious. My first thought was like, just to be humbly honest, I was like, just when we thought the defensive ends could be upgraded, they're back. But I'm hoping that they can contribute because they can provide some value with the contracts that they have. But I don't know that they can stay healthy. There are 2 roster spots. And with this team, every roster spot's key. Anakin says, so cut Josh, take the hit, and move on. Shout out to my man Xavier. Shout out to you. Hey, smash the like button. Doughboy Steve was asking, are you on tonight? Doctor, give me the news. 2 defensive ends back in the fold for 2026. Josh Paschal, Levi Onwuzurike. I think the fan base at some point was thinking about turning the page. New defensive ends, time to pressure. The Lions' time to pressure was like among the slowest in the league. And it's critical against better opponents. Xavier with the realism. Based on recent history or all history, the chance of either of those guys staying healthy is exactly 0. You got to hope. I hope that there's an opportunity because you don't want the free agency strategy to change. You don't want the draft strategy to change. Because I could picture it that the Lions take a tight end in the first round. trade down to 25 and get a tight end. And then number 24 is an all-pro. I don't want Aaron Donald 2.0 to happen again. Please let that not be true. What's your thoughts, guys, regarding the defensive ends returning? Super chats go right to the front of the line. Smash the like buttons. Appreciate everybody that's in here, the early 250 people. That's really awesome. Your thoughts, defensive ends. Who impresses you? Who do you want in free agency? Who do you like from the Senior Bowl? Senior Bowl was interesting. Nussmeier, I think, was the MVP. It's wild to see some next generation athletes doing their thing and to read about the chaos that was caused by the weather trying to get all these athletes down to Mobile. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going down to the Senior Bowl. Could you imagine? I'd be on one of those 6-hour delayed flights. But I always picture it. You got the free press that's in Mobile, then flying out to San Fran, doing the travel life. I can't imagine it. And I always say, I feel like I'm doing the job 80% well, but I don't travel. But I get to go home and squeeze my kids and have a good time, watch movies, tell jokes. Now they're at the age where they can make fun of me doing the stream every day. I just can't trade it. I can't. But, I'm a human being. I'm like, well, yeah, that would be interesting. The Free Press got an interview with Jared Goff. It would be nice to be out there in San Francisco, at least for a couple of days in the weather. But I live vicariously through the travel blogs. I don't know if you guys watch them, but there's these great guys that just sit on trains and tell you how much they cost. I've been watching those. Those are fun. But I'm yearning for the sun. Jackus in the second. You and Emmett would get along. He likes Jackus too. X the Trim Reaper. What up, Doc? All good, man. Living, talking line, talking ball. People are wondering, oh, this is that season? Yeah, we talk free agency, we talk rumors, we talk what other people are reporting. Yeah, it's a never ending. On X, people are like, don't you take a break? I'm like, no, there's no off season. It's the NFL. It's a fast moving train. You cover it. You talk about the news, and I do get up for it. I like talking about the Lions. I like talking about the NFL. I do genuinely like football. I like riling up the trolls, riling up the slappies too. But other news of the day, Jared Goff spoke about your offensive coordinator. Spoke to the Free Press as the Free Press has sent a reporter, the fine Dave Burkett, out to California. He likes covering the Super Bowl. I have a chance to go cover the Super Bowl. On Sports Illustrated sends me a letter every December, and I get sad. Just a quick story there. In 2023, I was watching the 49ers game. I was going to go out there, but I got sick. I got the flu. I managed all year to stay healthy. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. Booked a flight, booked a hotel, was going to meet with some staff from On SI, and was going to have a fun trip in San Francisco. And I made it all year. And the sickness was going around the media room. And I got it last. I got the flu the week of the NFC Championship. So I stayed home. Luckily, it was all cancelable. Of course, my wife is great. She books all that stuff for me, pushes all the buttons. And I didn't go out to San Francisco. I watched the game in misery like everybody else. Choke. But at halftime, I was about to book the Super Bowl, and I was going to go broke. It was going to cost $2,500 for a flight. It would have took 3 days to go by train, but it would have cost $200. I was like, honey, I could go by train in over 3 days. She's like, are you dumb? I'm like, I don't want to pay $2,000. And the hotel would have been $3,000. I was like, I don't want to pay these prices. And I said, okay, let's wait and see. So I didn't book anything until we saw the result. And so every year when I get the letter, hey, do you want to cover the Super Bowl? Part of me is like, yeah, it'd be cool to cover a Super Bowl, to at least cover one. I always respected the great reporter, Jerry Green. He covered all of them before his passing. All of them, like 56, 57 Super Bowls in a row. But I always say, man, I don't want to cover it without the Lions there. There's a void. But the Free Press sends the reporter out there every year. They get to talk to some athletes and get some news. But in the end, it just isn't worth it for someone like me. I'd rather do this at 7 o'clock on a Monday. Am I sick? Maybe. Instead of walking the streets of San Francisco and building connections, I'm talking to the great listeners of Detroit. I still wouldn't choose anything different. So the Free Press got an interview with Jared Goff, and it was stuff that you would expect, but let's share it. You know, we got to, let's do our quarterly check-in first at Detroit Lions on DetroitLions.com. I am still not featured in the Daily Drive, which means the Lions don't highlight me. They highlight every single media member but me, and it has been served to use as motivation to keep me going and grinding. 7 articles a day, 30, 40 fresh videos distributed worldwide, making context. It's used for my motivation, so I hope they never include me. Don't invite me on the podcast. Keep doing what you're doing. It has only served to make me highly motivated and highly, highly productive. First, our daily check-in with the Lions website, because they don't include me. And let's see who they include this week. And plus, it's a free click to them. They deserve it. They're doing great work. They're competition. But this is the Detroit Lions fine website, which you can find at DetroitLions.com. And this is what they do in what they call the Daily Drive, in which they go around and just pilfer other people's articles and share it. This is featured on the Lions website. Will you see the doc on there? Hell no. I don't know why. I've never asked. February 2nd, posted at 11:26. Will you see the doc on here? Hell no. This will keep me motivated for another year. The Free Press, the second reporter from look at that. Some guy I've never heard of, Mr. Andrew Burkle. Christian Romo's a good dude. The Detroit News is featured. Good dude, Richard Silva. MLive always featured. Good dude, Ben Raven. Never's going to ruffle any feathers. Detroit NBA All-Star Takeover. From MLive, ESPN, The Ticket, their radio partner, their friends at Pride of Detroit. Look at this. They even highlighted this, which I wrote about too, but it's still funny. Mr. Carlos's wonderful column. Lions should have a reunion with Matthew Stafford. It'll never happen, but they highlighted it. Go read it. It's great. I mean, I liked it. It did well for us too. You know, look at all that. Where's my articles? Featured from Sports Illustrated. You got every media outlet in the world but mine. I like it. I love it. That, like I said, I'm petty. I use stupid shit for motivation. That's what I use. It's stupid. Like, I'm successful 8 years in. I use stupid shit for motivation. But give them a click. Let them, let them be pilfered. No, they did feature it at one time. They probably like, take that off right away. Take that off right now. I laugh, but on some level, I always check in. I'm like, I didn't do anything that bad. I am not even close to anything bad to worry about. But like I said, I hope I love it. I use it as motivation. Am I blacklisted? Hell, who knows? I might be. I don't even know. But this is the Detroit Lions on SI website. And Jared Goff spoke about Drew Petzing. See, very clean, easy to click. Jared Goff speaks about Drew Petzing. And so, I don't know if that's the best photo I chose, but I was in a rush. Goff has spoken with Jacoby Brissett and wanted to learn more about the quarterback that's the offensive coordinator that's coming in. And so here's what Jared Goff said via Dave Burkett in the Free Press. Everyone I've spoken to about him was glowing. In particular, quarterbacks that have played for him were glowing. I think the thing that excites me the most is going to be his versatility. He's not tied to an offense, Goff said. We're going to kind of run what we're best at and what we should be doing, which some of the stuff we've done in the last few years that's worked. Yeah, clearly stuff over the middle, get it to Amon-Ra St. Brown, run the football, get Jahmyr Gibbs out in space. And then I think he's got the right personality and demeanor and teaching ability, and most importantly, his intelligence and mental dexterity, for lack of a better word, to be able to kind of handle not only the complexities of what we're going to try to do, but get the ball to guys. That's the hardest part of the offense. We've got so many mouths to feed, and being able to spread it around in an efficient way. That's what got John Morton fired. He forgot to use the guys, he forgot to use David Montgomery, forgot to use J-Mo. Right away, Dan calls plays, J-Mo back on track. But there is one thing I'm concerned about. It's going to take time, but some of the verbiage is going to change. That always means just a little bit of learning and getting on the same page, maybe early miscommunications. But there's going to be a reconstruction process to some degree. And Ben Johnson changed it, and now Drew Petzing is going to have some small modifications to the offense. We've talked about in our talks about Drew Petzing what he's going to do for Jahmyr Gibbs. We think that he's probably going to be utilized so much better in the passing game, might be used through the middle a little bit more, might find avenues to create new lanes. Great. I expect J-Mo and Amon-Ra to continue to shine, but maybe there's going to be just a couple less targets for Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Tesla, a couple more to Sam Laporta, a couple more to Gibbs. But the big question mark is going to be, how will Jared Goff be impacted? First and foremost, build him an offensive line so he's not running for his life. Build him a reasonable offensive line with a veteran center and guys that can block for him. The block, if you guys go look at PFF, the blocking grades, not the best for Graham Glasgow and Tate Ratledge. Not the best. Not the best. Brent, you're blacklisted because it's toxic doc time. I am not toxic. I'm realistic. I mean, any NFL team can go 60 years without being in the Super Bowl. I am not toxic, but I refuse to blow smoke for you people. Never. I'm willing to go overly cautious and tell Dan Campbell, hey, I don't like your offense 1 week in, than to blow smoke. I mean, it might be crazy, but I mean, in the end, I was still right. My little spidey tingly senses were like, this offense is whack. But they were able to correct it before it fell off the wagon. Anakin, it's incorrect. Incorrect. He's actually great at his job. He's not a reporter. He's a columnist. His job is to share an opinion, and his opinions get people talking. Most of the time, you guys don't like it, but it's actually incorrect. His job literally is to spark conversation. How do you spark conversation? Give your opinion. Remember, reporters just give you the facts. Today, Levi, I found out, is under contract. That's it. That's all the reporter gave you. Here are the facts. Levi's under contract. Here's how much it's worth. Here's how much he's get paid. Here's how much is guaranteed. That's great. That is one part of the job. It's a very fruitful part of the job, but it's the boringest part of the job. The other part of the job, which I love, is this part of the job where you go, great, here's some news. Let me tell you what I think about it. That's the part that keeps the lights on and keeps some interest. If I was just doing the facts, I would have quit. That's boring. I get to, and the blessing of my role is I want to do it all. I don't want to, and I let Vito is in the same boat. I tell Vito, hey, let's discuss your column, because people feel the same way about Vito. Giving opinions, that's why I'm not universally loved. It would be easy for me to be just a fan and be like Dave Portnoy and just put on a Lions hat and just cheer. But I like to take the road less traveled. I like to critique a little bit. I like to give my opinion, some good, some bad. That's the difference. He's a columnist, and the newspapers have split it all. I think one guy can do it all. I can tell you the facts. I can give you my opinion. I can entertain. I can do a podcast. I can use my words to eloquently discuss stuff with you guys. But the newspapers kind of slice it up. Your job is just to give the facts. Your job is to give the opinions. Your job is to do the podcast. I'm like, why? One guy can do it all. I'm the heel. I'm the bad guy. You need people like me. Companies need people like me. I can do it all. I can be a columnist. I can be a factual journalist. I can raise hell, not raise hell. But most importantly, it's important that you guys remember he's not bad at his job. He would if he wasn't getting thought of. If you say his name, you think of something. That's the job. That's the job. Is not to just tell you what you want to hear. But his opinion is crazy because it's never going to happen because there is such a thing as a salary cap, which if you read my article discussing his article, it would say, hey, the Lions have a $100 million cap, dead cap for Jared Goff. That's no bueno. And Jared Goff does have a no trade, but he would waive it if they told him we don't want you anymore. So remember, be accurate, be nice. So, how do you think Drew Petzing is going to impact Jared Goff? I think it's going to be positive. Here's why. Jared Goff will have a better running game. I feel like the offensive line can't be worse. The running game will get back on track, and they will introduce something back into the offense that John Morton forgot was a sentinel piece, the play action. Jared Goff needs a run game. Jared Goff needs everything to be in order so that the play action can work. Jared Goff does not need to be pressured. So quick passes, good screens, stuff underneath, zone breakers, routes. The problem is Drew Petzing does not technically scheme guys open with his routes, but he's got to grow and he's got to figure it out. There were a lot of routes that were of the similar depth and variety with the Arizona Cardinals. And the problem is if you don't run the ball well, you become one-dimensional. So you have to run the ball. But I'm of the opinion Jared Goff, I think, is going to have another 4,500-yard season, similar to this. But I think one thing you guys are going to notice that you may not like, but is necessary, Jared Goff has to not throw more interceptions, but take more chances deep. I don't think a 6.7 air yard per target is going to work. Guys in zone coverage playing nickel, and we're going to talk about it. The Lions defense in man-to-man and in 4-3 base is maybe not the best use of the talent that they have. Maybe, maybe not. We'll look into it. But when you're in zone and you have good linebackers, you can kind of manage the Lions offense. You got to take shots deep. And you can't just use the excuse, well, the other team is doing 2 high safety shells and not get, you got to battle it. I think Jared Goff's got to take more chances, so I expect the interceptions to go up next year. But it's going to be fine. Hopefully. Dom Yusuf. Make sure you get your super chats in. They go right to the front of the line. Dom Yusuf gets in. Good to see you today. Dom Yusuf gets in. Ooh, the comments are flying fast and furious. I apologize for that. What are your thoughts about Jared Goff and how he's going to be utilized? I expect him to have a good year. 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns, maybe 12, 13 interceptions. Doc, how are we giving Goff another season after he just quarterbacked the best roster of the 21st century to ever miss the postseason? Jared Goff was part of the best team in NFL history not to make the playoffs. I'm sensing a beautiful level of sarcasm there. You know why? There's 69 gosh darn reasons why. If you want a great article, a great opinion, they talked about it today on ESPN. Teams that somehow find a way to win have quarterbacks that are on cheap money. And also, Sam Darnold's on middle-class money, $30 million. It gives you just more of an opportunity. Teams need to have their quarterback around 15% of the cap. It just makes sense. You have more opportunity to sign better players. So the Lions, unfortunately, have said, Jared Goff, you're our guy. Dan Campbell is probably not going to have another quarterback. He's going to coach Goff until the wheels fall off. And it's going to pay off, or I think he's going to be gone. But remember, let's start with the facts. If you just want the facts, no quarterback with his head coach, that tandem, if they didn't win their first Super Bowl in the first 5 years, has ever done it. Ever. Look at these guys. They're doing it in 1 year. So if the Lions win, it would be historic. It would be nice. But Jared Goff, they gave him the contract. They gave him a big, huge, big-time top 10 contract and said, hey, you're making $50 million a year. And now his cap hit this year. Now some of the cap hits are starting to grow. This year's cap hit is $69 million. You can't carry that. They got to restructure it. You know what that means? When you're restructuring it, it basically means kick the can down the road. So he's going to be your quarterback this year and next year. Guaranteed. But the Lions fans don't want to gamble with a youthful quarterback. They know what they got in Goff. They've seen it. I can respect it. I'm a gambler. I play cards. I'm willing to bluff on a 6-8. I'm willing to see the board, ace, king, jack. And I got 6-8, all in. You have egg on your face when someone turns over, 2 pair and you got 6 high. I got 6 high, 8 high. Oops. But you go for the top. No guts, no glory, and no limit hold'em. But the Lions see what they have in Goff, and the fans like, okay, Brad Holmes poisoned the opinion well. He said, it's so much easier to get worse at quarterback. But isn't it your job to find good, talented players? Oops, he drafted Hendon Hooker and he's gone. So there's a bias there. Fans are like, oh, well, the Lions drafted Hendon Hooker. That's Brad Holmes' fault. If your philosophy is, well, we're not going to draft a quarterback because we're going to get worse, sorry, it doesn't work for me. You got to find players that are going to compete. And I think Jared Goff deserves a little competition at the quarterback spot. He'll win it. But yeah, Jared Goff's got to be the guy. As much as we yell, scream, he's not mobile, you got to build around him. That's just the way it is. You got to win with Jared Goff. And you got to give him a defense. Give the man a defense so that, we can actually judge the quarterback. See, we're positive. Still going to hit 4,500 and 35, 40 touchdowns. He better. There's a lot of money allocated to that offense. Are you guys still reasonably comfortable? Or you guys recognize, most people I think are saying, well, look, if Sam Darnold can win, he is semi-athletic. He can, when he's playing well, evade the pocket. And look at Drake May on a rookie deal that allowed the Patriots to spend buku bucks in free agency to bring in talent in 1 year. Guys, Patriots, 1 year. I'm that crazy owner to be like, how'd the Patriots do it in 1 year? My first question to any prospective head coach in my world would be, are you going to get us a Super Bowl in 2 years? What am I paying you $15 million for? Be like, John Macaroon, the owner, is the worst owner ever. All he gives is 2-year deals. And I'll prove it. But you get big money. You win a playoff game, big money, big bonuses. Earn it. He has given the most 2-year contracts out there. No one can even utter that Goff is better than Hurts and Darnold anymore. No, not at all. Listen, he's a top 10 quarterback and probably in the neighborhood of 8th, 9th. And guys, remember, it's just not that easy to say, well, get an offensive line, get a defense. It's not that easy. If it was, I think Brad Holmes would be close to getting it done. They also got to pick the right people, get them to play well, and also get them to stay healthy. Oh, good luck with that. Jared Goff, what do you guys think? PFF. Now, remember, I want you guys, at least in this room, the 250 people in this room, smash the like button. I want you to grow as a media literate person. Okay? At Lions on SI, we will use the word report if the Lions are seriously interested in a player. This person is interested in coming to the Lions. This person is interested from the Lions to get him. From now until March 9th. March 9th, I'm a Pisces. That week is a hell week for me. It's free agency. That week's my birthday. But from now until then, all the names you're hearing, every name that we flash is speculation. The report that the guy said about Alex Anzalone to the Jets, speculation. If anybody says, if you have a favorite bark reporter that is telling you things, it's all speculation. Meaning, this is the time where we go, I think this player might fit with the Lions. We're not saying this is going to happen, that the Lions will even call this guy. What we're saying is, this is a player that a reporter's thinking about, and that's our job. We like to talk about it. But I want you to realize it's all speculation. And look for the words could, maybe, possibly, suggests. And if you ever have a question, just ask. But don't fall into the pit of being like, hey, Doc is saying the Lions are going to get a cornerback. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I read with my exact brain and I share what I read. And then I give my spin on it. I like it. I don't like it. Here's what I think. So if you ever have a question, comment. Oh, Doc, I heard on a website that someone's going to get stolen from the... No. They're suggesting, they're kind of speculating, talking about it potentially. Brent, media literate, another oxymoron, right? You have to understand, one, we have a reading problem. Nobody wants to read. You just want to read my headlines, which are good. They're crafted beautifully by me. But they don't read what's in the article, and then the other half, they don't understand what's in the article. They don't understand that, guys, guess what? A report's going to be coming out that you're going to read. The Lions might be interested in a lineman this year in free agency. Sources. Did you know that? Bark. The Lions are interested in trenches this year. There's a lot of no shit reporting out there too. But we got to do it. Okay? You got to keep the lights on. But if you ever have a question about what something means, ask. Don't mind. I was in the same boat 10 years ago. Then I figured it all out. Oh, guys, guess what? The Lions report sources. I'm hearing inside the Lions building, the Lions might be interested in some tight ends this year. Yeah, no shit. Why would you? How'd you come to that conclusion? The Lions might be interested in some tight ends. Maybe because their OC now ran 13 personnel and 12 personnel, and you got a couple of them that you can upgrade. So remember, media literacy is important. So this article was written by PFF, and their story was simple. Nice and simple. And it was, here are one free agent we think is good for every team. Not that it's going to happen. And look, this headline's perfect that I wrote that you should understand. Rams cornerback named a free agent the Lions should target. This is not happening. This is a suggestion. We won't know nothing about the totality of free agency until March. But today is February 2nd. So what that means is we have some stuff we want to talk about, and you guys like to talk about free agency, and so do I. So let's talk about free agency. I come up with names, and other sites come up with names. And so I'm not greedy and say only look at what I say. Open it up to PFF, what ESPN's saying, what Sports Illustrated national writers are saying. It's just a little flavor of what's being said outside the internet. That's why you guys visit Lions on SI and give us your honest readership for 8 years. And I wrote this beautifully. Look at that. Beautiful video. Look at that. Progressive. Look at that. Good companies want to advertise. Good, clean, safe companies want to advertise with us. Why is that? Because I'm a wholesome person. I'm not toxic. I'm a person that they go, you know what? He's relatable. That's a friendly face. That's a friendly, trusted neighborhood insider, reporter, podcaster. We'll give him some ads. So watch the videos. Give your friendly podcaster a little love. Last year, the Lions defense gave up 24.3 points per game, which ranked 22nd in the league, and 331.9 yards per game, which was 18th. And so I said, okay, maybe a position of need could be cornerback in free agency. PFF listed, and then we are the nice people. We give you an opportunity to go to their site and link properly with credit, unlike some sites that seemingly forget to credit where they got their information from. They said one free agent for every team, and that player is cornerback Roger McCreary. Corner. As the writer, I always give the writer credit. As the Lions head into an offseason of critical reflection, they'll likely lament what's happened to the state of their cornerback room by the end of the last 2 years. See how nicely he put it? I could put it in a much more blunt situation. The Lions cornerback room blew up because they all got hurt. They all died. The state of the cornerback room was ending up being non-ideal because Ennis Rakestraw hurt in training camp. Terrion Arnold, shoulder surgery, out. DJ Reed, hamstring, missed several games, not as productive as Carlton Davis. McCreary represents a younger upgrade at slot corner. The 25-year-old owns a 70 overall PFF grade through his 4-year career and a 68.7 PFF coverage grade. After joining the Rams, he was with the Titans, drafted in 2022. He got traded to the Rams. He had a 79.4 coverage grade. This former second-round pick could bring inside-outside versatility with starting upside to Detroit's corner room. So just a name to pay attention to, Roger McCreary. And that's all it is. Very simple. Media literacy, meaning I'm not saying they're interested. I'm not saying they've ever talked to him. I'm not saying that he's even on the radar. What I'm saying is somebody thought that could be a fit. And that's all. Do you guys think cornerback should be something in free agency? Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw. I don't know if you bring back Amik Robertson. But that's all we're saying. Is this is a name another outlet is thinking about. And I think that's the ultimate form of respect, is to say, hey, I went to another, and this is what I do. I wake up every day early, and I spend an hour and a half reading, just entertaining myself. Oh, here's what this person's thinking. I read all the sites. I listen to all the podcasts. I don't say to myself, well, I'm this high and mighty journalist, and I'm just going to ignore the guy at Sports Illustrated and act like he doesn't exist. And when he puts out reports, just act like he didn't do it when he's the loudest guy on the internet. But that's me. You know what I mean? I go to every site, all of them, spend an hour, drink some coffee, answer some texts, pay some bills. And I enjoy content. And I say, oh, this is interesting. My audience would like this. Oh, look at that. And on this very podcast, you get some news. Ahmed Hassanin sends his hi for you, Mr. Macaroon. I just hung up. Ahmed started training with a private special trainer one-on-one. He wants to start early. Boom. And also, Mr. Hassanin, we love seeing him do the MMA. He's badass. We love seeing that on the internet. The jiu-jitsu, the martial arts, it's badass. Next time you see him, tell him shout out from Michigan and shout out from Lions fans. We can't wait to see year 2. That's right. He's got to get in shape. He's got to get twitchy. He's got to boom. He's got to be one of those solutions. And I think he will be. The Egyptian magician. The Boise State Habibi is going to dominate, inshallah. We got chat on chat crime. I love it. Cynthia, good seeing you. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're withstanding the winter months if you're in one of the colder climates. Xavier, easy. Just enjoy the chat. You're getting after it, Xavier. Getting after it with DM. Steve-O, baby. Doc, people think that they are reporters and they know more than real reporters, but in reality, they don't. Yeah, listen, I don't begrudge anybody's hustle, but there's a clear difference between those that are just reading information and those that are trying to actually decipher it for you. Of course. But again, I don't worry about labels. I would just like to be known as your favorite trusted podcaster. That's it. That's all I need. If you say, Doc, that's a good dude. That's an honest dude. He's a good podcaster. I like his show. I will retire a happy man. I'll let the reporters report. I'll let the facts guy do the facts. I'll let the numbers geeks twiddle their thumbs with the numbers. I just want to talk to you guys and interact and share my opinion and write about the Detroit Lions. That's it. And if you like it, great. If you don't, that's great too. Because I actually like a little bit more. Like, I love talking to you guys 98%, but 2%, I like talking to the haters. They're like, you can't write and you suck. And it makes me happy because in the end, it's actually a double positive. If I suck and I can't write and I can't do the job, how the hell have I hustled to get this job for 8 years? It puts a smile on my face. It never hurts me. It actually makes me feel better when people tell me I suck. It just puts a bigger smile on my face. You're too toxic and you're too negative and you're not like this. And why aren't you like this? It just puts a smile on my face. I go, how the hell did I last 8 years? I fooled them for 8 years? I fooled them for 8 years. It's a big compliment. When you tell me I suck, you're actually telling me I'm the greatest. Because how the hell does someone who sucks at writing, sucks at content creation, sucks at everything, hold on to that many readers and that many followers for 8 years? It's a compliment. I just smile. Great question, Anakin. Doc, why do you think you know more than Brad? I got the same number of Super Bowls as him. And so do you. Now, again, you're misguided. Anakin, in the end, I need you to put it like this. Life is easy. If someone gives you the answers and they're there, I am the one that goes up to it. For example, if my sister said, John, 1,000%, I have the answers to the test. This will get you an A. You will not get in trouble. Here are the answers. I will walk over to the paper. I will take the answers and I will use them. For example, I wasn't the originator of podcasts in Detroit. In 2013, there were maybe 6 good ones. I said, oh, I like that. I want to talk to my cousin. Who's the best podcaster in the world? Adam Carolla. What did Adam Carolla do? What tech is he using? What kind of show does he do? I read every book he ever wrote. I followed everything he ever did and said about a podcast. What do you know? My podcast is successful. I didn't invent it. I'm not even original at it. I just copied literally what's successful. So here's my message to you. What are teams that win the Super Bowl do? The Eagles, the Seahawks, the Rams, I'm talking about teams that win Super Bowls. I'm not talking voodoo here, Anakin. Teams that win Super Bowl tend to have a affordable quarterback who can move his feet. You know, the thing that you don't see a lot, can evade the pocket, not get his ass beat from a defensive end. 1. 2, they draft well. They don't take guys that sit for 3 years. When it's time to push, they start to be a little bit more aggressive and they hit. So in 2023, which is the year that the Lions it was their Seahawks year and their Patriots year. And Dan Campbell told you that might have been our window. The Lions brought you Donovan Peoples-Jones. Come on, bro. They should have got a higher level of talent. I'm not telling you guys that I know more than Brad. All I'm repeating to you is this is what teams do that win. They have affordable quarterbacks, athletic. They hit a lot in the draft. They're relatively good in free agency when they spend it. And when it comes time to make a trade, they make one. Now, here's how you guys get confused. It doesn't guarantee if you do all 5, you're going to get a Super Bowl. But if you don't do them, you're not getting there. You regress. You go from 2023 to 2025 where you don't make the playoffs. What do you think caused that? Not drafting well enough. Free agency sucked, and the trades weren't good enough. You loved your own guys, but they all got hurt. I'm not repeating anything here that's wizardry. What I'm telling you is I like what teams that win the Super Bowl do. And I'd like you to kind of copy that. Try it. That's all. And the fans are telling you, be more aggressive. Your fans are telling you, if you're going to charge them $400, make them happy. So I'm not a wizard here, Anakin. I'm just repeating, hey, I look at teams that win. I go, okay, yeah, the Eagles took a sweet-ass time, and Brad's got more time to do it. But if Brad goes down this road where he loves all his guys and free agency is like, well, I'm going to get a guy that the Eagles cast off in Avonte Maddox. He's a good player, but that's not a guy you're going to win a Super Bowl with. I would like the Eagles. To me, if you're just asking me, Anakin, I would go down the Patriots plan. Suck for 2 years, get a new quarterback on a rookie deal, find your Drake May, spend $100 million in free agency, and get one player that's of impact at the trade deadline. Let's see what happens. But I don't want this where we go, here's your free agency class of Marcus Davenport and Al-Quadin Muhammad and Roy Lopez and Avonte Maddox. Come on, man. I'm not giving you wizardry. I'm not even giving you anything high level. Hey, these guys win Super Bowls. What do? They got 5 tools. Draft well, free agency kicks ass, nice quarterback, trade deadlines, no projects. Just try that for me. I think a lot of the people that you see in the chat and the fans would be really happy, Anakin, if they did that. I don't know anything. I just know that I follow the NFL, and I know that what you guys do at the Lions don't work. And it's not, and at some point when you're competitive and you go, damn, you were this close to the Super Bowl. If you didn't have the guy whose football bounced off his head, if you went out and got an all-pro, he would have picked that off. If you didn't have Kendall Vildor and you had somebody else, maybe anybody else, maybe you would have slapped the football down. Boom! Instead, it bounced off his head into the 49ers. And you got Brock Purdy sitting there all day surveying the landscape. No pressure. And Donovan Peoples-Jones did shit. So, I mean, come on, Anakin. It's not that difficult. Exactly. The fans were like, get a defender. He marched up there and gave you Donovan Peoples-Jones. Defense wins championships. Again, I'm not even that original with my ideas. I'm not that original. Draft, develop, get some free agents that are maybe 1 or 2 top end. The more you pay. Why didn't the Lions get Milton Williams? Why didn't the Lions get Harold Landry? Why didn't the Lions get all of them? The fan base would respect you more if you just stop with this plodding approach. Nobody cares about that. Take a swing. For some fans, for me in particular. Take a swing, baby. What's the worst that's going to happen? You go from NFC Championship to no playoffs? What's the worst that's going to happen? Oh, it's going to take forever. Well, then you're not that good of an evaluator. If you take a swing and miss and it takes you a decade to come back, then you're not that good. Braylon, when it sounds good, it just sounds good. Because the other side is hearing, Brad is the heavenly angel. No, he's made some mistakes, and the proof is not my opinion. The proof is based on the results on the field. That's it. The results are the results. It's not based on my opinion. They went from the NFC Championship to they're not in the playoffs. Does that tell you the general manager's doing the right thing? Come on. The final exam is not what Doc says on his podcast. The final result exam is, where's your team at? NFC Championship, first round loss, no playoffs. Here's how the scale's going. There's easy answers why. But Before the Lions under previous ownership, it would be like this. Whoosh. It'd be like kapoof. Now, Brad went like this, but I think if he changes his philosophy, listens to some of the fans, it might go back like this. Whoosh. Might be like a U. Like this. Whoosh. Back on the upswing. Whoosh. Sign some free agents. Sign some better guys. Whoosh. We want this part. Whoosh. Back up. Because all the other guys that have run the Lions have gone like this. Boom. No more playing. Gone. So that's what it is. Appreciate you, Anakin, though. I appreciate your loyalty to the support. It's good. It's good. But you gotta at least entertain the other idea that the results are terrible. So that's what we did today. Go head on over to Crunch Time. Tell them the doc said, yeah, he finished up at 8:06, 70 minutes of good fun. We talked about today in this hour. We talked about Levi Onwuzurike, Josh Paschal. What are your thoughts? Jared Goff spoke, and PFF has a free agent. Good show. Good 70 minutes. Mr. Hassanin gives us an update on Ahmed. One-on-one trainer. He's going to get after it. You tell Ahmed, let's go. Grind and grind some more. And one last comment from my guy, Chief IT Hips. Shout out to you. We're freezing up here. But we'll live vicariously through you. They should have won it in 2023. That was beyond dumb how they didn't do anything to help the defense at the deadline when they were way under the cap. Just not enough. You got to do more. And we're a more town. If only Josh Reynolds secures it, it's a whole different narrative. Doughboy Steve, you know what would have happened? They would have been favorites in the Super Bowl and they would have got their tail kicked in. Like I said, the next, and I do predict the upswing. The next swing is they're going to go back up and they're going to have to feed us a Super Bowl loss. It's not that easy. It's not that, in my world, it's not that easy. You just show up in the Super Bowl and win it your first time. Program that's never won it before shows up in the Super Bowl first time and wins it. My little heart's prepared for the loss in the Super Bowl, but I want to see it. My little heart's prepared. Oh no, I think I'm getting pulled by my guys. How's that possible? We should simulcast, but I am hopping out. I had a little extra today, a little extra fire from a commenter, Boner. I am the Doc, John Macaroon. I represent the Detroit Sports Podcast. Founded in 2013. This is made possible thanks to OnSI. Head on over to Crunch Time. Hit their emojis. Hit my emojis. Tell them that Dusty May is not going to tamper with the Spartans anymore. Undercover, brother. We're going to start tampering. Thanks, everybody. I look forward to talking tomorrow.